Hello everyone, my name is Btvenderman and today I am going to be going over the statement that pubg is suing Fortnite and Fortnite servers are going down in May. And this is probably most likely a false statement. And the reason why this would be a false statement is that these games are completely different. The reason why pubg is suing Fortnite is because of copyright infringement, which doesn't make any sense because they're two completely different games with the same concept of a Hunger Games based style that you have to be the last one living and you have to find and scavenge guns or any weapon that you could find or anything that you could find to survive with to, win. But it doesn't make sense how pubg will be suing Fortnite because of a copyright infringement. They're two completely different games. I'm saying that so much, but it's true. They might have the same concept, but doesn't make them the same game. And the reason why that pubg is suing Fortnite is because they think that they stole their idea or it's the same game, but it's not. And I'm going to go over it right now. pubg is a realistic based game with, Hunger Games based game too. It's realistic Hunger Games based game. Fortnite is a cartoonish and made up in fiction kind of game. In Fortnite, you have unique weapons that any other game does not have, and pubg has realistic weapons like how Call of Duty does. So I'm going to go in a top 10 list of how these are different. It's not going to be actually a top 10. I just don't know how many concepts are going over right now. So, that sounds kind of unprofessional, but it's off topic. But here we go. Number 1, Fortnite has rarity weapons. pubg, everybody knows that pubg has attachments and realistic guns, and they don't have the same gun coming onto you over and over and over again like how Fortnite does. Fortnite, you have one type of gun and it has its ranks, like a white AR, then a green AR, a blue AR, a purple AR, and a yellow AR. They're the same guns, but they're different because of damage and reload speed and any of kind of such. But pubg, they don't have one gun and it goes in rarity style. They have one gun and you can equip attachments to that gun and make the gun improved. That's the difference between them, that their gun styles are different. If I want to get a shotgun in Fortnite and I want a better one, I have to find an improved color of that gun. In pubg, if you want a shotgun that's better, or it's not absolutely better, but you want to find a shotgun that you're used to, you go and find yourself a shotgun with a different name and a different style and a different look. They're two completely different guns. In Fortnite, they're the same gun with more DPS or more reload speed. And that's one of the reasons why Fortnite is different than pubg. Number 2, unique concepts between Fortnite and pubg. Fortnite has so many unique things in the environment that it's a completely different game. You have vending machines, you have impulse grenades, you have porta-forts. You have all these things that make the game so different that you just can't make this the same game. Fortnite is a fiction game. You go into a storm that kills you, there's zombies coming after you, and you're just like a superhuman. pubg, it's basically a realistic game except for the storm. pubg is more realistic, and it's just different. pubg, it's a bigger map and has vehicles. That's their unique concepts. Fortnite doesn't have vehicles. They have all these other things that make the game different. So that's a major difference between them. They have two different things. And what I just said before, I'm going to go over now, is map size. pubg's map size is so big that they need vehicles. And the game lasts longer. Fortnite, their map is so small, not as small, like it's really small, but it's smaller than PUBG's, and it's different because they both have different types of maps. Fortnite is a faster paced game. It has a smaller map, no vehicles. It doesn't need that. It's good without it. The game is really, really nice without the vehicles. It doesn't need vehicles, and it will never probably will be introduced with vehicles. PUBG needs vehicles because vehicles give you travels faster for you, and the game's map is so big that it is required to have them, or basically you would just die from the storm. And what I'm going to go over next is the graphics. The graphics between PUBG and Fortnite are so different that if a newcomer in the gaming community wanted to play each or other game, they would not think that they're the same game just looking at a picture of the game. PUBG is a realistic looking game. Fortnite is a fiction made up cartoon looking game. They look completely different. It's just, there's like nothing close to them looking alike. The buildings in Fortnite are so bright, the grass is bright, the trees are bright, everything is so bright and vibrant in Fortnite. And in PUBG, it's more realistic. It looks all drabby. Now, I'm not saying like it looks bad, but it just looks more realistic. The graphics are still beautiful. It's just, it's more of a realistic look. And it's more of a dark tone than Fortnite being a more childish tone and a cartoonish tone for like to look kid friendly. So yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like they don't look exactly the same at all. They look different in every way. And now what I'm going to go over is the character design. PUBG, you can create a character and change his clothes. You do all that. In Fortnite, you can't customize your character. You have to get a skin to wear an outfit. And they look so different. Fortnite's characters are outrageously amazing. PUBG, their customization isn't as outrageous as Fortnite's. Theirs is more realistic, so they stay in the realistic area. They don't go outrageously crazy with all the outfits. In Fortnite's, they do. Their skins, like the Raven or the Black Knight, are so different compared to PUBG's customization that you can't even, compare them because they're too different. So yeah, that's what I have to say for that, because they are just so different that you couldn't even compare them, because PUBG is more realistic, Fortnite is more fiction. So there's uncomparable. I am also going to go over the emotes in Fortnite. The emotes, the pickaxes, everything that Fortnite has. Like, you guys don't understand that Fortnite, you could dance in Fortnite, you could put an emote in Fortnite, you buy a pickaxe in Fortnite, you can have a glider in Fortnite, you can have all these customizations in Fortnite, and PUBG does not have. There's so many customizations in Fortnite that it makes it like nearly impossible that the characters look alike. There's customization like back bling and characters and gliders and pickaxes and emotes, so they cannot be the same. And it's just all I gotta say, that Fortnite is not the same like PUBG or anything like that, because PUBG, they don't have that outrageous uniqueness with their character design. Fortnite does, because you have all these things, like you can express yourself by dancing, or you can express yourself with a glider. It's as simple as that. That's what makes them different, because Fortnite has emotes and all these different kind of creative ways of adding or expressing yourself in the battlefield, and PUBG does not. Something else I am going to go over is that PUBG has proximity chat and Fortnite does not. And what proximity chat means is that you could chat with people that are not even on your team in the middle of a game if they're close enough to you. If they're in the same building, you could talk to them. If they're across the map, you can't talk to them. But Fortnite, everyone's completely silent. You can't speak to your enemies. You can only speak to allies or somebody in your party. In PUBG, you can speak with people that are not your allies, and you can speak with people that are your allies. So those make it two completely different games because you can communicate with your enemy, and you can't communicate in Fortnite. To make it more child-friendly and less insults in the game, or something like that. But that's a major difference between the game and the game style, because you could talk to somebody it's not on your team, trash talk them or strategize with them for some reason. And in Fortnite, you can't do that at all. Everyone's completely silent, muted. No one can talk to each other unless you're in their party. What else makes PUBG and Fortnite unique is destructible items. Fortnite has destructible items. PUBG does not. This makes them two completely different games. Sorry for the voice crack. Because Fortnite can you can destroy a wall that you're hiding behind, or someone else could destroy your wall that you're hiding behind. In PUBG, if you hide behind a wall, it's a barrier that cannot be broken. It's indestructible. PUBG, you're safe. If you're in a room, camping in a room, looking at the door, you're completely safe because no one's gonna break behind you in a wall like some crazy person in Fortnite does. You can actually break a wall in Fortnite and destroy people. That's what makes the games completely different, because Fortnite, you don't have that indestructible barrier in front of you at all times. And in PUBG, if you're hiding in a building, you have the endless boundary between the enemy and you that you can't like kill each other until one of you guys come out or you go rush them or anything like that. Fortnite, you could just break something in front of them and they'll get scared off you or you kill them. That's what makes them unique. Fortnite, you have destructible items, and PUBG, you have indestructible items, making the games totally different in gameplay. Here is also something that makes the games completely unique, and this goes on with the destructible items, is the pickaxe and the materials and the building. The destructible items are destructible for a reason, to either break a barrier or get materials. And the reason why you need materials is to build, and to build is to make portable, or it's like a portable cover. And that's what makes the game so unique. You can build a wall. You could build a wall. In PUBG, you can't build. You have to find a building to hide behind to be able to get cover. To get cover in Fortnite, you could either hide inside a building, go behind a rock or a tree, or you could just make your own cover. You can make your own house. You can make anything in Fortnite, basically. It's so much endless creativity in the game, but usually people use it to provide cover or to distract or disorientate. I think I just messed up that word. Disorient and an enemy. That's what makes the game so completely unique and strategic, because Fortnite has building, making the game endlessly creative, endlessly strategic, making the game a longer paced, not longer paced, making the game, I don't know how to say it, making the game more strategic. I'm just gonna say that, because if I were to build a wall and continue building walls, you would have to find out a way to get past that wall. I'm not saying PUBG is not strategic. I know it's still strategic. It's just they're too different that you wouldn't be able to say that they are the same. Because PUBG does not have that building. You have to find a building with an indestructible wall or an indestructible building, I'll just say. And in Fortnite, it's an indestructible building, indestructible. It's a destructible building that you can gain materials from and then build your own type of building or whatever cover provided. I'm sorry I'm like messing up this. I'm just kind of stuttering a lot, but it's just me. But I'm just trying to prove a point that Fortnite can build, destroy things, all these things. PUBG, you cannot do that, and it makes the game unique. Fortnite's skill is completely different than PUBG's skill. The skill gap between the games are so far apart that they're like, if somebody were to go to, like me, I started playing Fortnite, and I went to PUBG, and I got my ass kicked in that game. And if a PUBG player was supposed to go to Fortnite, they'd probably either get their ass kicked or not know what to do, because it's a completely different game. Because they're both different games, the skill gap is just so far apart. They're the same concept of the game, but the skill so far, it's just, they just can't, like a newcomer from PUBG to Fortnite or Fortnite to PUBG, they would not like know how to play because they're both different game styles, or there's different in-game concepts that make the game different, like building. Fortnite has building, destructible buildings, and also rarity weapons. PUBG, they have attachments to weapons, and they have indestructible buildings and no building at all, making the games two completely different, making the skill gap far apart, making the strategic plays completely different, making the games different, and the different game styles different. Like each player in each game are gonna play differently, because Fortnite you have building, you're gonna build cover, and PUBG you have to find cover. What else makes them different is the sounds in Fortnite. Fortnite, they have, the game's sounds are so important that you're required to have headphones to basically win the game. And PUBG, their sounds are not as good as Fortnite's. I'm not saying that their sounds like a gun sounds better in Fortnite. I'm saying that the sound is more important in Fortnite, because Fortnite, you rely on the sound a lot more. PUBG, you do rely on the sound, but it's not as, important as Fortnite's. Fortnite, you could hear somebody run up to you or run on you. If they're upstairs, you will know they're upstairs because the sound indicates that they're upstairs. If they're downstairs, the sound will indicate that they're downstairs, and you will know they're downstairs. If they're in front of you running around like a freaking spaz, then you would know where they are. And also, you can hear somebody pull out their gun in a separate room. You can hear somebody reload, hear somebody pull out their building map. The sounds are so important in the game. So, and you can also identify what guns are what guns. PUBG you can identify, but it's easier in Fortnite. And also, I'm not gonna say that PUBG you don't need to rely on the sound, but PUBG you can hear a car from far away. The map is so big that the sounds are not really as important, because you can't really hear somebody if you're not meeting people all the time. If the game is always longer, you're not going to be seeing people all the time. That's what makes the games completely different, because Fortnite relies on sound. It's a smaller map, so you're going to find people more. And PUBG, the sounds you rely on them, but you don't rely on them as much as Fortnite's, because PUBG is a bigger map. You're not going to see as many people as you would in Fortnite. You see, you run into a person every 3 minutes in Fortnite. In PUBG, you run into somebody for every 5 to 6 minutes, making the game a lot different. Also, Fortnite has game modes, making the game more fresh by adding these silly game modes, or really amazing game modes, or just ridiculous game modes. They make the game modes to keep the game refreshing for people to keep coming back. PUBG does not do this. They make new maps. They make completely new maps to keep people coming. That's what's so different. PUBG has different maps in the game, making them different. Fortnite has this one map, but does game modes on them, making them completely different. And oh, I want to play this, or I want to play that. I want to play on this map. Fortnite, you can't be like, I want to play on this map. You only have one map. Fortnite, you go, I want to play this game mode. Making the games completely different, making them separate, because they have these two things that make them completely different. The community between Fortnite and PUBG are so different. The community in PUBG and Fortnite, just, you can compare them, but they're not the same. Fortnite, they listen to the community, they give you chances to be a part of the community, such as the Boogie Down, hashtag Boogie Down on Twitter. People get to submit their dances and be a part of Fortnite. And Fortnite has these unique skins that make the game different, to make the player feel more immersed in their character. Instead of PUBG, you can change the style of clothes, you can change your character's face, but Fortnite, you get to buy a character and you feel like you're that character in the game, making the community completely different because the immersion between the two games are completely different. So when I play Fortnite, I always use the Red Knight, because I feel like the Red Knight is an amazing character. I feel like I am the Red Knight, even though that sounds crazy, but I am the Red Knight. In PUBG, you feel like your character. Your character looks like you, or you look the opposite of you, and you feel immersed in that character. They're just completely two different, and the community also gives us a chance to play game modes that PUBG does not allow, because they're a completely different game. They have different ideas, different intentions. Fortnite's like, I wonder if the fans will like this game mode, and if they don't like it, they'll bring a second version of that game mode and change it for the fans to play again, because it was a loved game mode and they want to improve it for the fans. They care about their community. They do as much as they can. That's why the game is free. It's free to play. You don't have to buy. You can be a part of the community. PUBG, it's a $30 game, and you want to be a part of the community, you could buy your way into the community, which makes it two completely different games. I'm not saying that PUBG is bad. I'm just saying that their intentions are different than Fortnite's. Also, Fortnite listens to their community so much that if a weapon or anything in the game is disliked, Fortnite's developers will delete or remove that weapon from the game. PUBG does not do this as much as Fortnite does, like the smoke grenade, the homing missile, the regular SMG were removed because they were disliked weapons. Nobody enjoyed those weapons, and due to the lack of people liking the weapon, why keep them in the game? It takes more process for the game to keep that in. Why, if it's going to be disliked, why would they keep them in the game? That's why Fortnite has like a, not say better, they have a more unique community because they actually listen to their fans. And PUBG, they kind of just like adding something and they want to keep it in the game because they spent their hard working time. Why are they going to remove it if they spent their hard time working on that specific item in the game that nobody likes? So that is what I am going to go over in Fortnite's and PUBG's lawsuit between them. I still believe that it's a false statement that they are gonna get shut down. Fortnite's gonna be shut down by PUBG because of copyright infringement, because there's too many differences in the game. The community is different, the skill gap's different, the gameplay is different. That's why some games like Halo and Crisis or Call of Duty and Battlefield, they can't sue each other because they are completely different games. So that's what makes it not like suable, because if they were the same game just with a different, different name, it would be sued because they're the same exact game with a different name. So that's what I'm only gonna say. If you guys think I missed anything, please leave a comment, and I'd probably, if you guys give me more ideas of what to do, I will make another video of this, and I'll feature your comment in the video, because I don't want you guys to be discredited for what you have to say. If you guys did not like my video about this rant of Fortnite being taken down, just leave a dislike if you don't like it, and tell me why in the comments you did not dislike. Why you dislike this video. Is it because of my voice? I know. Is it because of the topic? Yeah, I can see that. And leave a like if you guys did enjoy this, and subscribe if you guys want more content. It would probably boost my confidence a little bit if you guys help me out. So yeah, thank you guys for watching for this long. It's really crazy, and thank you for taking the time. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.